Think you've mastered every world capital? Brace yourself. This quiz might just shake your confidence. Let's find out if you're a true globe-trotting genius or if it's time to hit the atlas. Question: what French capital is known as the City of Light, but it also has more dogs than children? The answer is Paris. Fun fact: the Eiffel Tower was meant to be temporary for the 1889 World's Fair. Question: what Japanese capital blends ancient temples with futuristic toilets? The answer is Tokyo. Fun fact: Tokyo was known as Edo until 1868, when the emperor moved there. Question: what British capital is home to Big Ben, red buses, and more CCTV cameras than people? The answer is London. Fun fact: the Big Ben nickname actually refers to the bell, not the tower. Question: what Italian capital features an entire country within its borders? The answer is Rome. Fun fact: Vatican City, the world's smallest nation, is inside Rome. Question: what Canadian capital sits right between English and French Canada? The answer is Ottawa. Fun fact: Ottawa was chosen by Queen Victoria to avoid rivalry between cities. Question: what Australian capital is often mistaken for Sydney, but it's halfway between Sydney and Melbourne? The answer is Canberra. Fun fact: Canberra was built as a compromise capital between rival cities. Question: what Egyptian capital has pyramids nearby, though the locals insist they're technically in Giza? The answer is Cairo. Fun fact: Cairo's name comes from Al-Qahira, meaning the victorious. Question: what American capital has no skyscrapers taller than the Washington Monument? The answer is Washington, D.C. Fun fact: it's one of the few capitals built specifically for government use. Question: what German capital was once split in half by a wall? The answer is Berlin. Fun fact: pieces of the Berlin Wall are now scattered in museums around the world. Question: what Indian capital was designed by the British and became the capital in 1911? The answer is New Delhi. Fun fact: New Delhi and Old Delhi are technically two different cities. Question: what South Korean capital is home to over half the country's population in its metro area? The answer is Seoul. Fun fact: Seoul's name means capital city in Korean. Question: what Russian capital has a subway system famous for chandeliers? The answer is Moscow. Fun fact: the Moscow Metro doubles as an underground art museum. Question: what Mexican capital was built on the ruins of the Aztec city of Tenochtitlan? The answer is Mexico City. Fun fact: it sinks several inches every year due to its soft lakebed foundation. Question: what Spanish capital has a bear eating strawberries on its coat of arms? The answer is Madrid. Fun fact: the bear in the strawberry tree statue is a local symbol in the famous Puerta del Sol Plaza. Question: what Brazilian capital replaced Rio de Janeiro in 1960 to promote inland development? The answer is Brasilia. Fun fact: it was planned in the shape of an airplane when viewed from above. Question: what Nordic capital is home to Nobel Peace Prizes and famously expensive coffee? The answer is Oslo. Fun fact: Norway's capital gives out the Nobel Peace Prize each year. Question: what Scottish capital features a famous castle perched on volcanic rock? The answer is Edinburgh. Fun fact: It hosts the world's largest arts festival every August. Question: what Irish capital celebrates St. Patrick's Day like no other? The answer is Dublin. Fun fact: the River Liffey divides the city and its pub loyalties. Question: what Chinese capital is home to the Forbidden City and Tiananmen Square? The answer is Beijing. Fun fact: its name means Northern Capital in Mandarin. Question: what Austrian capital is known for classical music and coffee houses? The answer is Vienna. Fun fact: Vienna consistently ranks as one of the world's most livable cities. Question: what Greek capital is crowned by the Parthenon? The answer is Athens. Fun fact: it's one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities on Earth. Question: what South African capital is famous for jacaranda trees and administrative politics? The answer is Pretoria. Fun fact: it's one of South Africa's 3 capitals, the executive one. Question: what Swiss capital is known for its bears? Real ones that live downtown. The answer is Bern. Fun fact: its old town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Question: what Chilean capital sits at the foot of the Andes and shakes occasionally? The answer is Santiago. Fun fact: earthquakes are common, but so is great wine nearby. Question: what Peruvian capital is on the Pacific and nicknamed the City of Kings? The answer is Lima. Fun fact: it's also the world's culinary capital. Try the ceviche. The capitals have spoken. Did you conquer the map, or did it conquer you? Your journey doesn't end here. There are more chances to prove your genius. Subscribe and dive deeper into the world of trivia, only on this channel. See you next time.